Welcome into Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon. Arizona high school football, the stories and the storylines are a year-round thing, even after the games conclude in December. On this week's show, we've got Jordan Ham to talk in-state recruiting and how ASU and U of A's improvement in that category is impacting kids from Arizona, whether they go to another school first and transfer back or become heavily recruited right out of high school by those two programs. Then I catch up with Jacob Saliga from Arizona Varsity. He was at the All-American Bowl. We had 3 players from Arizona represented in that nationally recognized game. So I wanted to chat with him about what that experience was like. And then Claudia Collins has a recruiting roundup from some of the best players in the state this year as they reflect back on their best moments from high school and what it taught them as they prepare to go to the next level. Joined now by Jordan Ham, been a part of Sports 360 AZ for a long time, recruiting roundup for many years now, all over it on the college platform. And Jordan, I want to, kind of start there with almost the culmination of both of those. You were there covering high school football recruiting on the ground when Arizona, ASU, you look at the top 20 prospects in the state every year, they're never really considering those schools. Even if they were, they weren't given that love back by those schools. Now, you look at things, you look at the top 20 guys this year, even some of the top guys in the state had at least verbally committed there before swapping to other schools like Oregon and Washington. So we're seeing that happen now. We're seeing the top guys get love from U of A. We're seeing the top guys get love from ASU and actually consider this school. I mean, what's it like from your side of things to see that happening?
I mean, you're absolutely right. Usually ASU, U of A would get a couple guys in the top 20, but it was never really like those top 5 players, at least the past couple classes. And Jordan, we saw so many great players that are now in the NFL going elsewhere and, having really good college careers. You look at Washington, who made it to the national championship game. They had a whole bunch of Arizona guys on that defense, along that offensive line, on the special teams. So the fact that both U of A were starting to see, some really good players commit there. And like you said, Elijah Rushing was committed there, ended up flipping to Oregon, but they signed Damon Williams, a really talented quarterback where when you would have told me, a couple of years ago, hey, U of A is going to make a big push, it's going to be like, that'll be cool. Like, that'll be cool that they make the top 5, not make the, get the commitment and, able to flip him from Ole Miss. And now you're seeing ASU, really try to start that. And, Kenny said he's going to go after the top guys. It probably was a little bit too quick of a transition for this class, but the other thing to keep in mind when we're looking at a guy like Cole Martin, a lot of these guys are bouncing back. So you build that relationship now, maybe for a couple years down the road, and who knows what happens. Guys, want to come back to the West Coast, want to come back home, play in front of their families. And now you're starting to see that. And that's really exciting to see not only one program start to do really well, but both programs really put an emphasis. And now it truly is going to be a fight for some of these guys in Arizona. And I think that's only going to enrich the rivalry that much more.
Yeah, and that's where I want to stay too. So obviously you look at the top guys. Of course, there's always going to be guys that want to go to the blue blood programs in college football. They want to get out of the state, and you're never going to knock them for that. Like ASU or U of A can go after a guy hard, but if his mind is set on, hey, I want to go experience a Michigan and Ohio State, more power to them. These programs are not on that level. Maybe one day they will be, but at this point they're not there. So we'll always, understand that. But I want to go to this though. So we saw it when Jedd Fisch got to Arizona. We saw a bunch of those guys bounce back, come home, go to Tucson. We're seeing a little bit of that with ASU. I know, fans of either school would hate to say that either school is sort of copying the blueprint of the other. But do you think there is some legitimacy there saying, yes, Arizona's turnaround this year maybe wasn't necessarily relied on with a bunch of kids that came back from Arizona, but those guys did help set the culture when they came back and had their roles. And some of them, a Gunnar Cruz ends up being a grad assistant and helping out in different ways like that. And so from my perspective, I think ASU has taken a little bit of that blueprint from Jedd Fisch and the Arizona Wildcats.
I think it's definitely similar. And I think looking at how to rebuild a program really quickly in this age of college football, the blueprint is at U of A on how to do that. And I think that a lot of what ASU is doing is, similar. Well, I'm not sure if it's, just a good idea all around, or if it really was, hey, we're looking at, what else is happening in the state. But yeah, I mean, you look at a guy like Gunnar Maldonado, who started his career at Northwestern, came back. He's probably the best example for U of A of a guy that came back. Tanner McLaughlin as well. And Tanner's just a kind of a crazy story as is for what he was able to accomplish over these past couple of years. But now you're starting to see that. And I think it's also for ASU, this is a coaching staff that is very familiar with ASU high school football. So you already have that connection with some of those guys, the Tate Romneys. He played against Jason Mons. Coach Regal was very familiar with a lot of these guys. When Parker Lewis ended up coming back to ASU, he said, one of my first visits was with Coach Regal at Cal. So I think it not only is it being local, being aware of who's in the state, but also just those relationships, whether it is at the prep level or getting recruited by some of these other coaches. We're seeing relationships matter. And, a lot of the U of A guys that were able to come in, Noah Fafita, T-Mac, they all played together. Kean Burnett, who I think could have a big year this upcoming year. All those guys played together at high school. Like the relationships do matter. And that's where you can, if you do have shortcomings in your NIL or in some other, maybe you're a guy really wants to go to the Big Ten or wants to go to the SEC. The relationships are what kind of can stand true. Not only in this offseason, but potentially future off seasons if they do find themselves in the transfer portal.
So you brought up the name Cole Martin earlier, and I was honestly surprised that he was leaving Oregon. I mean, I know his dad's the DB coach, and he played in a lot of games. He had an interception against Arizona State, and one of the first games he got to play a lot on defense, just because that game got out of hand very, very early. Mm-hmm. So he got his reps there. But what does it say about Kenny and the staff that they're able to bring in a guy like that who was highly touted out of high school, had big programs all over, and now he's a guy that comes home and is likely already going to have the opportunity to earn a starting spot and play a big role on this team?
This is a really big deal because not only, like we've talked about, the bounce backs, the highly touted guys who go off and, like you said, Cole was a little bit of the exception. Like a lot of these guys that are coming back hadn't found the field yet or found it sparingly, or there was a coaching change. It's pretty much, there's going to be continuity at Oregon, and they're going to, he did find the field a lot. That could be a big domino. And I'm sure as Kenny is talking to more and more guys, whether it's this cycle or future cycles that are looking at, potentially coming back to Arizona, he can point to Cole and say, Cole had a pretty nice setup. And he decided to come to us. And I'm sure that the coaching staff is not taking that lightly.
That's everything you need to know there on the college front. A little bit of recruiting here in the state. That's Jordan Ham. Jordan, thank you for joining me. We'll see you soon on Bleacher Talk.
Custom ordering is at Santan Ford. Colors, wheels, trims, performance packages, and more from the factory right to your driveway. And you can even track your custom Ford every step of the way.
We are Santan Ford.
Let's talk about Venezia's Pizzeria. New York-style pizza. Oh, man, this looks so good. Pizza doughs made fresh daily, wings, subs, sandwiches, pasta. They cater, they deliver. They have 5 Valley locations. Venezia's New York-style Pizzeria.
Bienvenidos. Here in the heart of the American Southwest, you'll find 3 well-known restaurants all named Valle Luna, serving the finest Sonoran-style Mexican food known across the country and beyond. And we're open for business, so come on in. We've fired up the grill and iced down the refreshments and even added some specialties along the way.
Thanks for coming.
Hello. Greetings.
Welcome back.
No matter where you're from or how you say it, at Valle Luna, you're always welcome, and we're glad to have you back.
Discover more Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino.
Hi, folks. Here are your drinks.
Where having fun means racking up reward credits with the Caesars Rewards loyalty program that can be redeemed for food, free play, hotel stays, and more. Not only here in the city of Maricopa, but also at more than 50 Caesars properties coast to coast. From Harrah's Las Vegas to Caesars Palace in Atlantic City. What are you waiting for? Play for All at Harrah's Auction Casino, the official sponsor of Play.
We got them at Santan Ford. From the latest all-electrics to the most rugged 4x4s and America's best-selling truck.
We are Santan Ford.
Welcome back to Bleacher Talk, joined now by Jacob Salika. You can see him over Arizona varsity, high school football, high school basketball, representing the West Side very, very well. That's where you've made a name for yourself, Jacob. So first off, welcome on. And yeah, we're excited to have you here. I guess we'll jump right into it. You were at the All-American Bowl over in San Antonio over the weekend. 3 of the best players in the state representing Arizona. You had Damon Williams, who played at Basha, Deshaun Warner from Desert Edge, and Noah Carter from Centennial. So we'll start there. 2 West Side guys that you know very well. And from what I've heard, their stock rose a lot after this game.
Yeah, Noah Carter turned heads all week long in practice. He really was impressive just with his body movement, quick footwork off the line, really made a name for himself in speed rushing. And then Deshaun Warner, he was able to showcase both his run stopping and pass rushing ability. He didn't have as good of a practice week. He didn't really get as many opportunities. But when the game came, 2 big tackles for loss and a sack that could have been a strip sack in the fourth quarter really made his impact felt on the game. Both guys really were able to shine all week long. And it's just another example of why Arizona is continuing to put ourselves on the map as one of the best football states in the country.
What'd you see out of Damon Williams? I know it seemed like he kind of was the offense for the East team. I don't know if he's necessarily getting that same love after the game, but from what I saw, it looked like he balled out as we have seen him do since he was a freshman here.
Yeah, Damon Williams did what Damon Williams does best, and that's just take over the game. 2 passing touchdowns and a long rushing touchdown. He really showcased his overall game fairly well. He was very smart when using his legs out of the pocket. He wasn't taking unnecessary hits. He was able to get to the boundary, get first downs using his legs. And then the big thing was his accuracy outside the numbers. He was able to stand well in the pocket as that pass rush led by 5-star guys on the other side blitzing at him. And he was able to connect for 2 big touchdown passes, one to Ohio State commit Jeremiah Smith, and then the other to TJ Boyd, who's going to Clemson. So he was just able to really showcase what we all in the state of Arizona know well.
What was the experience like for you, being able to just be there and know there were 3 Arizona high school kids and just kind of see, some of the best talent across the country and see some of the guys that you've been covering for years now show out against some of the best in the country?
It was a surreal experience for me, mostly because, these are situations that I never thought I would see myself put into, and just having the opportunity to go out there and, showcase what we have in this state. It was an honor for me. I got to see Damon Williams his freshman year play his first ever varsity playoff football game, when he faced off against O'Connor. I got to see the progression from him from then to his last ever high school football event. Then with Deshaun and Noah, seeing their progressions, because they both started off as wide receivers when they first got into their programs, and just seeing them progress to what they are now, getting the opportunity to see them showcase that against 4 stars and 5 stars they were lining up against, it was a great experience.
What do you think, people should take away? I know you've done a really good job. You've compiled a list before the season of all the D1 kids from Arizona, and you just, kind of re-put it out there, all the kids from Washington, just to know that, hey, the talent is here. You're going to see it on Saturdays. If people aren't aware of that, they need to wake up a little bit, because it seems like the best kids in this state, like, they're making plays all over the country in some of the biggest moments. So what's that like for you, just understanding that when you are covering high school football out here, you are seeing guys that are going to make a name for themselves on Saturdays. Some are going to go make a name for themselves on Sundays, because I don't think people think of Arizona when they think of, states that produce guys that do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, and what's been fun to see is that Keely Ringo a few years ago, the game-sealing pick 6 in the national title game, we see him now on the Eagles on Sundays. Bijan Robinson, top 10 pick in the draft. We see what he's now doing in the league for the Falcons. Seeing the progression of the respect that we have nationally, it's just coinciding with the overall level of talent that we have in the state. We had 4 teams this year in the state finish or were ranked in the top 25 nationally this year. We haven't had the top tier teams in our state get respected like that for a long time. And I put out a list before the game on Saturday. Since 2010, State of Arizona's had 33 kids get selected to play in the All-American Bowl. And to me, I think we are going to continue to get the level of respect we deserve, because kids like Deshaun, Noah, and Damon are performing on the national stage like that. And I think, people like yourself, myself, all of the people at Sports 360 AZ, and everybody in the state who covers the high school athletes, we know the talent we have in the state, and we know how good of a state we are when it comes to football. And I think it's special to see the national media and the national people recognize the talent we have, both not just on Fridays, but also on Saturdays and Sundays.
When you get a home loan from Desert Financial, you're not just getting a mortgage. You get a mortgage. You'll get more competitive rates, more local servicing of your loan. We even offer a closing guarantee on select loans. And because more is better, get up to $5,000 closing cost credit when you use a participating real estate broker. At Desert Financial, we don't just do mortgages, we do mortgages. Click, call, or come in for more information on our great rates, local servicing, and how you can qualify for a closing cost credit of up to $5,000.
Let's talk about Venezia's Pizzeria. New York-style pizza. Oh, man, this looks so good. Pizza doughs made fresh daily, wings, subs, sandwiches, pasta. They cater, they deliver. They have 5 Valley locations. Venezia's New York-style Pizzeria.
Inspiration is closer than you think. Come visit Burge Mazda during the Season of Inspiration sales event. Now's the time to go past ordinary. Drive a Mazda CX-5 with 0% financing up to 60 months on all trims. Get a Mazda CX-30 Turbo or a Mazda CX-50. Save with 1.9% financing up to 60 months. Or get a Mazda CX-90 with 2.9% financing up to 60 months. The third row SUV to fit your lifestyle. They're all here at Burge Mazda during the Season of Inspiration, Baseline and Country Club, and BurgeMazda.com.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Now bust a move, bust a move, bust a move.
Bienvenidos. Here in the heart of the American Southwest, you'll find 3 well-known restaurants all named Valle Luna, serving the finest Sonoran-style Mexican food known across the country and beyond. And we're open for business, so come on in. We've fired up the grill and iced down the refreshments and even added some specialties along the way.
Thanks for coming.
Hello. Greetings.
Welcome back.
No matter where you're from or how you say it, at Valle Luna, you're always welcome, and we're glad to have you back.
What's up? Welcome into the Recruiting Roundup. I'm Claudia Collins, and championship weekend is finally just ahead of us for a Through the Open taking place on Friday and Saturday. But many Arizona high school football players have already closed the chapter on their high school football careers. But I have three of Arizona's top recruits reflecting on their recruitment and what high school football has meant to them. When I first started covering recruiting in Arizona, Chandler running back Khalil Valentine was quickly put on my radar. In 3 years for the Wolves, he posted 428 carries for 3,164 yards with 40 touchdowns. And he says from the moment he arrived at Chandler, he knew that he would be successful there.
Great relationships. My coaches definitely always there for me and always just helped me out through school and just practicing on the field. And then teammates for sure. When I came out here from California my freshman year, it was a very great team bonding team. We brought other people in from different schools as they were just one of us from the start. So they definitely were just able to bring me in, and I love the environment I was around at all times.
It's become pretty common in the last few years for recruits to enroll early so that they can participate in spring ball, but Khalil decided that he wanted one more high school track season before heading over to the University of Illinois.
My coach Eric, he's also my running back coach. He's also the head coach for track, so he really convinced me, and we really talked about it, and it was like, we might as well just run track and get faster before we go into college, because that's what we're going to be doing, conditioning, this and that. So I want to win a state championship, because wasn't able to do it in football. And then I just want to also run at least 10-5 at least.
Desert Mountain tight end Dylan Hipp is enrolling early and is just a few weeks away from moving to the other side of the country to embark on his new chapter. But before he officially becomes a Rebel at Ole Miss, he reminisced on what playing high school football meant to him.
For sure, taught me a lot of lessons. I'll say that just to begin. I've learned a lot of the stuff that, how I carry myself just through my coaches and, football. That's why I think football is one of the best sports out there, just because not only do you get to play, and it's one of the most exciting sports, in my opinion, you get to learn a lot of lessons as well. Kind of instilling that hard work ethic in me. That's really the main thing that Desert Mountain has done for me. And then also just creating that brotherhood and bond with my teammates has been a blessing as well.
With nearly 36 offers, Hipp knows a thing or two about the ups and downs of recruitment.
Definitely just be patient. I mean, it'll all come to you in the end. That's kind of one thing that I worried about. After my sophomore year, I was like, I don't think my film is good enough to get offers yet. I didn't have a clue when I would actually get my first offer. I mean, coaches will be wanting to call you all the time, and you're always getting messages, so it can be stressful. But if you really just kind of put your phone down a little bit, that always helped me.
Last but not least, ALA Gilbert North wide receiver Brandon Phelps closed out his high school football career with his name in the record book. Surpassing two of Christian Kirk's records, he now has the state record for receiving touchdowns with 61 and the receiving yards record with 4,971. But when it's all said and done, that's not what Phelps is going to remember when he looks back on his time at ALA Gilbert North.
It's the best time of your life, high school football, I believe. Yeah, it's hard waking up in the morning, especially our team, because we wake up so early in the morning, but there's really nothing better. And that's why almost everyone cries when they lose on their senior last game. There's literally nothing better than high school football. And I encourage everyone that's thinking about playing or is playing right now to just keep on playing and play as long as you can, because I mean, high school football or just football in general eventually ends. And I believe football gives you the most opportunity, and it's one of the most fun times of your life. And you find relationships with other people, and you keep those for a long, long time, even after football ends. So.
But despite breaking records, Phelps says even he struggled with comparison at times throughout his recruitment. But now, with his future as an Arizona Wildcat set in stone, he shares what he'd do a little bit differently.
I feel like the biggest thing with recruiting, and it comes with social media, is you see all these guys get all these offers and all these big time guys always posting all this stuff. But everyone has their own journey. You know, I used to get jealous of people. Oh, why are they getting all these offers when I'm doing better than them? Because all these different things I'd always think. But it's really, you have to focus on your own journey when you're in recruiting. You can be that guy with one offer that school loves you, and you're going to figure it out and you're going to go ball out. That's all that really matters. Because at the end of the day, when everyone's graduated and everyone going off to college, high school offers and stars don't matter. Some of the biggest guys, some of the biggest 5 stars, 4 stars, all these guys, they turn out to be complete busts. So it's all, and it goes back to all your mentality. You got to go in. You can't go into college thinking that you're the guy, because everyone else around you is the guy too. They were all the guys in high school, and you just got to go in and just got to ball out, you know.
That's all for the recruiting roundup. For more recruiting news, head to sports360az.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Talk. I'm Jordan Spurgeon. We'll see you all next week.
Custom ordering is at Santan Ford. Colors, wheels, trims, performance packages, and more from the factory right to your driveway. And you can even track your custom Ford every step of the way.
We are Santan Ford.
Visit us at Harrah's Auction Casino in the city of Maricopa, where you'll find play for all and friendly people ready to welcome you like family.
Welcome back, you two.
As the official sponsor of Play and the only casino in Arizona with Caesars Rewards, see what a difference it makes to play where your fun is our top priority. Harrah's Auction Casino. Play for all.
We got them at Santan Ford. From the latest all-electrics to the most rugged 4x4s and America's best-selling truck.
We are Santan Ford.